Today, we are going to be taking a look at an extremely unique, rare, and powerful weapon in Destiny 2, the brand new Ikelos Sniper Rifle. This video is going to showcase why this weapon is so powerful and how you can get your hands on it. And so, let's get started. What is up, guys? Rick Kakis here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the, ready for it, Ikelos _SR V1.0.1. God love the Ikelos weapon names, henceforth known as the Ikelos Sniper Rifle. This is the brand new Escalation Protocol exclusive weapon, available for this week's Escalation Protocol boss that we will go over in a sec. He specifically drops this weapon. However, it is said that the last two bosses in the 5-boss rotation for Escalation Protocol can drop any weapon, but the sniper is not guaranteed on any except for this week's. Now, as I've stated, this is an incredibly powerful weapon. This is one of the best PvE sniper rifles in the game, arguably the best PvE sniper rifle in the game. That's a bold claim to make, so how am I backing this up? What makes this weapon so powerful? Well, let's take a look at its stats and perks. Stats-wise, it's pretty common for its damage archetype. This belongs to the lowest damage tier archetype for sniper rifles. Another weapon in this category is the Alone as a God raid sniper rifle. Perks wise, firstly, it has the intrinsic perk indicative of its category: rapid fire frame, deeper ammo reserves, slightly faster reload when magazine is empty. After that, you have 3 different ballistic choices, and then you have the perk that all of the Ikelos weapons have: Seraph rounds. This makes rounds over-penetrate targets and bounce off hard surfaces. So with a sniper, your chances of getting an over-penetrating double kill are actually pretty realistic. Honestly, this perk with specifically this sniper will come up a little bit more than it may in, hand cannons and other weapons that you're more just focused on those single targets, and it's going to matter more because sniper rifle damage is so much higher. Over penetrating and getting that other enemy behind, he's going to get hit with such a powerful round that, again, it's very common to get double kills with this weapon. But frankly, the next perk is the one that's really interesting. It's a unique perk called Box Breathing. Aiming this weapon without firing for a brief moment grants bonus range and precision damage while it remains zoomed. And then the final perk is Triple Tap. 3 precision shots in a row will reload 1 round from the reserves into the magazine. So Box Breathing is definitely the highlight of this weapon. Increased damage in any capacity is always extremely interesting and can make weapons incredibly competitive. Here, the damage bonus is substantial. Testing it here in PvE, I was able to hit for around 4,700 damage on this Escalation Protocol boss with a headshot, and then, after Box Breathing kicks into effect, 8,100 damage. In case you're wondering, in PvP, obviously, since it's precision damage only, you're only always going to kill with a headshot anyways. It's not going to matter too much. This is really a PvE focused weapon. That's where this video is really going to focus on. But in PvP, 333 damage for a normal headshot, 570 damage for a box breathing headshot. This works out to a just over 71% damage bonus. That is a considerable damage bonus. 71% more damage. That is no joke. And therefore, the Ikelos Sniper blows all other legendary Destiny 2 snipers out of the water, because what other legendary sniper is doing anything close to getting a 70% damage bonus? Again, none of them. The only downside of this perk is that you do of course have to aim down sights and wait for it to activate, whereas if you're using another sniper, you'd get to shoot right away. So maybe if you timed it and shot right away with another sniper, and in the Ikelos you have to pick your damage up, the other one would have a better DPS over a shorter period of time. Like, you could maybe twist the numbers to get that. but there's so many different boss fights in Destiny 2 where you're able to just aim down sights for just a few seconds, activate that perk, then the shield goes down, or then your teammate activates whatever to make the boss vulnerable, and then you absolutely unload. And in those scenarios, this sniper is just so far ahead in terms of DPS. So I think it's clear that it is the best legendary PvE sniper in Destiny 2. That is clear. Now, of course, the real comparison comes when you face all other snipers, and we're talking exotic snipers, and specifically the Darcy, right? The Darcy got a huge buff recently with the Warmind update, and so is the Darcy just worth using all the time over this weapon? Well, the thing is, the Darcy, although it is the better sniper, just on a sniper-to-sniper basis, the Darcy is capable of doing more damage quicker. Like, the lock-on doesn't take nearly as much time as the box breathing perk for the Ikelos, but the Darcy is exotic. And people very often overlook this massive downside when they judge weapons. They're going to say, well, the Darcy does more damage, so it's worth using in every scenario. But you're giving up a lot to use the Darcy, because you're giving up all of those other fantastic exotic weapons in other slots. If you're using the Darcy, you can't use the Cold Heart, like I am in the background gameplay. The Cold Heart just got another massive buff, also with Warmind. It's doing way more precision damage than it otherwise did, and this thing tears through enemies. You may run out of sniper ammo. Like, every once in a while, you know, you just get screwed by heavy drops and you have no sniper ammo, and having a backup Cold Heart is so much better than having a backup normal auto rifle. Also, if you're dying a lot, you get to use the Crimson as another exotic. The Sweet Business also got massive buffs. That thing has 999 rounds in the reserve. It can pump out massive damage. So again, you're giving up a lot to use your exotic slot in order to equip the Darcy. The Darcy is fantastic, don't get me wrong, you're not going wrong for using that weapon. But having basically a legendary version of the Darcy is something you should definitely not overlook. Because in something the Darcy is fantastic at against Argus, let's take a look. Let's just take a look at the gameplay of the Ikelos Sniper doing the same thing. So that was me with my Titan Rally Barricade cranking out damage as fast as I could. I was hitting, with box breathing, for over 50,000 damage per shot on Argus. That is no joke. And I counted the shots, I landed 16, there was a couple I kind of missed and got 8,000 damage, but 16 crit shots, and that accounts for, ready for it, 831,000 damage. And above, I didn't count the 2 I hit for 8,000. So you're doing above 831,000 damage with this weapon in just a few seconds. And frankly, could have done more. Didn't have an empowering rift, and if I did and landed all my shots, we're talking 1,000,000 plus damage easy. So, a new contender has entered the arena for top tier raid loadouts, and I truly believe this. The power weapon slot does have a lot of competition, and there's a lot of fantastic weapons already vying for slots. The Sleeper Simulant, the Borealis, if you can activate that perk, and of course the Darcy. The Darcy absolutely being this weapon's main competition. But if you want to use an exotic elsewhere, if you want to use an exotic kinetic or energy weapon, what else are you going to use? I think the Ikelos is an absolutely phenomenal weapon. It is so far ahead of the other legendary snipers. It's basically a half exotic sniper. It's the legendary version of the Darcy, and that's the simplest way to put it, and that is really, really good. So, how do you actually acquire this weapon? Well, again, it's an Escalation Protocol exclusive weapon. It drops specifically from this week's Wave 7 boss. Now, me saying that actually does literally mean it's a boss drop. When you kill the physical boss, he will actually drop potentially this weapon on his corpse. You do not have to open the Wave 7 chest in order to get this weapon. Again, it's a drop associated with that actual boss. So you don't have to switch characters, you don't have to do anything like that, you just have to farm kills of the actual boss himself. That's something that a lot of people don't exactly know. But let's talk about the mechanics of this specific boss. He is going to have a crit on his back. And that's about it. There is a giant bulging, growth or something on this ogre's back, and that is where you can do damage to him. Every other part of this ogre's body will be immune. Now, some very high splash damage things like Nova Bombs do still, if you kind of hit him, on the top or near that bulge, you will still trigger the bulge. That's what our Nova Bomb Warlocks were telling me. Like, one hit him, basically directly in the front of the head and still was getting damage numbers because of that blast radius. So how do you take this guy down? Well, I would say that this is probably the easiest of all of the Wave 7 bosses I have faced so far, because there's no immunity phase, there's nothing you really need to do. You can just slowly chip away at this boss throughout the entire 3 or 4 minute engagement and then just kill him with normal tactics. You don't have to do really anything too special. The main thing, however, is of course to get him to turn his back to you. There's really 2 ways to do this. Number 1, split your team up. If you have a couple of people run behind a rock, you'll see some of this in the background gameplay, but behind a rock on one direction, the rest of your team is on the other side, well, he's only going to be facing one side. So the side he's facing is distracting him, and the other side just pounds his back with this sniper rifle if you have it, but of course, Darcy's, Sleepers, anything like that. Even you can get up close and go for shotguns, like the Escalation shotgun, incredible DPS. I was using the Perfect Paradox for some of this as well. Incredible DPS from shotguns, and if you can get close enough, you can just rain in the damage on his back. Another tactic, and the one I would actually recommend, is just to have one Sentinel Titan with bubble, because that Sentinel Titan is going to run kind of behind him and pop a bubble right next to him. The ogre is going to get very distracted by the fact that there's a guardian right at his feet and just basically keep slamming the bubble over and over and over again, and all other 5 players can go to town on his back. It's worked for us, it's a very effective strategy, it's just a way to get him to turn around, face somewhere else where the rest of your team goes to town. Again, this is not necessary, we definitely beat him without really doing this, but it is kind of an easier way to get him to turn around rather than just splitting your team up. Now, I do need to mention that there are going to be 3 Shriekers that spawn. When they do, focus your fire on those, kill all 3, and then go back to damaging the boss. Once you do a certain amount of damage, they'll spawn again, kill them again, because if you leave them alive, you're just going to be torn apart, and you're going to be spending too much time reviving teammates or dead, and not enough time shooting the boss. So stop shooting the boss when those Shriekers spawn and focus on them. Also, a little bit of a quick tip here, he does have a lot of health, so you're going to have to maximize your damage. Don't forget about Melting Point, don't forget about Tether, Empowering Rift, all of that stuff is very much going to help you. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.